Do you feel like you're always stuck in a cycle of misunderstandings and frustrations with your partner? Well, here's the truth. Until you both come together as spouses, these common issues will keep reappearing in your relationship. Today, we're diving deep into the things that happen when you're not fully aligned and how you can break this cycle to build the future you deserve. But before we jump into today's discussion, take a moment to think about your own relationship. Have you noticed these recurring issues? Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts. And don't forget to hit that like button if you believe that true commitment can make all the difference. If you're ready for more relationship tips and insights, make sure to subscribe to Mind Matters. We're here to guide you toward healthier, happier relationships. One of the most common challenges couples face before fully committing to each other as spouses is the lack of clear communication. At this stage, it's easy to make assumptions about what the other person wants or needs, leading to confusion and frustration. Subpoint 1. Misunderstandings. For example, maybe you expect your partner to understand something important to you without clearly expressing it. You may assume they know, but they don't. This gap in communication can lead to hurt feelings or misunderstandings. These small things add up, making it feel like you're not fully on the same team. Subpoint 2. Unclear expectations. Another issue that arises is unclear expectations. One partner may expect a certain level of involvement in the relationship, while the other might not even be aware of it. For instance, you might expect your partner to spend more time with you on weekends, but they've never realized how important this is to you. These unmet expectations can lead to resentment or a feeling of neglect. Subpoint 3. Emotional disconnect. Without clear communication, it becomes harder to emotionally connect. You might feel like you're living parallel lives, rather than working together toward common goals. This emotional distance can be subtle, but over time, it makes it difficult to build the intimacy and trust needed for a strong marriage. So how can we break the cycle of miscommunication? The key is honesty and openness. Start by having real conversations with your partner about your needs, wants, and concerns. Instead of assuming they know what you're thinking, express your feelings clearly. Be open to hearing their perspective too. Don't let silence build barriers between you. One of the subtle but powerful effects of not being fully committed as spouses is the growing emotional distance between partners. It's not always about arguing or fighting. Sometimes it's simply the absence of emotional connection. Over time, if this distance isn't addressed, it can become harder to bridge the gap. Physical versus emotional presence. You can be physically present with your partner, sitting next to them, even living together, but still feel emotionally disconnected. This emotional distance often starts with small things. Not checking in with each other about how the day went, not sharing your feelings, or not showing affection regularly. When these moments of emotional connection become scarce, you begin to feel more like roommates than a couple. The parallel lives syndrome. As emotional distance grows, you might find yourselves leading parallel lives, where you're both going through the motions of daily life, but you're not truly experiencing it together. Maybe your partner shares important thoughts or moments with others, but not with you. This can make you feel unimportant or left out, even though you're in the relationship. It's as if there's an invisible wall between you. The risk of disconnection. This emotional distance is dangerous because it can slowly erode the foundation of trust and intimacy. When you're not emotionally close, you're less likely to share your deepest concerns, dreams, or vulnerabilities. This lack of connection makes it hard to truly understand each other and work through problems together. To combat emotional distance, it's essential to prioritize emotional intimacy. Set aside time to talk to each other, not just about the daily tasks or issues, but about your dreams, fears, and aspirations. Share moments of vulnerability. Small gestures like touching, holding hands, or even saying, "I love you" regularly can make a huge difference in bridging this emotional gap. When you make emotional connection a priority, you'll notice how much stronger your relationship becomes. You'll move from feeling like two separate people in the same space to truly becoming partners in life. One of the biggest challenges couples face before fully committing as spouses is the issue of inconsistent priorities. When you're not yet fully aligned as partners, It's easy for each person to pursue their individual goals, which can sometimes clash with the relationship's needs. Different life goals. Maybe one of you is focused on career advancement, while the other is more interested in building a family or personal hobbies. These differing goals can lead to conflict or frustration because, without a shared vision for the future, you're not working toward the same destination. One person might feel neglected because the other seems more focused on their individual pursuits than on nurturing the relationship. Time management and effort. Inconsistent priorities can also show up in how you manage your time. One partner might feel that the other isn't making enough effort to spend quality time together or to prioritize the relationship. You might be focusing on work, socializing, or other commitments, while your partner feels neglected and unimportant. This lack of alignment can lead to resentment or feelings of being taken for granted. Short-term versus long-term focus. When priorities aren't aligned, one person may focus on short-term pleasures, like enjoying a weekend out or spending time with friends, while the other is looking at the bigger picture, like building a stable home or future together. This difference in outlook can create tension because one person feels like they're investing in the future, while the other is more focused on enjoying the present. So, how can couples avoid this disconnect? The key is open, honest communication about your shared and individual goals. Take time to sit down and discuss your priorities, both short-term and long-term. Are you on the same page when it comes to your life goals? Do you have a vision for the future as a couple? Understanding each other's priorities helps you work together, ensuring both partners feel supported and understood. By aligning your priorities, you're no longer walking down separate paths. You'll move forward together, with mutual support for each other's dreams, while building a shared future. It's about balancing both personal and relationship goals to create a life that works for both of you. Trust is the foundation of any successful relationship, but before you both commit to each other as spouses, trust can often be fragile and uncertain. Without full commitment, trust issues can creep in, and they might manifest in different ways, such as doubts, insecurities, or fear of being betrayed. Lack of transparency. One of the most common trust issues arises from a lack of transparency. When you're not yet fully committed, you may find yourselves keeping things from each other, whether it's small secrets or bigger issues. This lack of openness can create a feeling of distance, and your partner might start to question whether they can truly trust you. When there's no full transparency, doubt starts to take root. Fear of betrayal. Another aspect of trust issues comes from the fear of betrayal. If you've been hurt in past relationships, or have witnessed betrayal from others, it's easy to bring that fear into your current relationship. This fear may lead you to overanalyze your partner's actions or words, creating unnecessary tension. The fear of losing the person you care about can prevent you from fully opening up, making it hard to build a trusting, solid foundation. Inconsistent actions. Trust issues can also be triggered when your actions don't align with your words. For example, you might say you're committed, but your actions show otherwise. Maybe you say you want a future together, but your behavior suggests you're not fully invested. These inconsistencies cause confusion, and your partner might start doubting your sincerity. Trust thrives on consistency and reliability. So, how can couples build trust before committing fully? The first step is to create an environment where both partners feel safe to express their concerns and vulnerabilities. Start by being transparent with each other, no matter how small the issue may seem. Consistently show up for your partner by being reliable and dependable, whether it's keeping promises or simply being present when they need you. Rebuilding and strengthening trust takes time, but it starts with small intentional actions. The more you show your partner that you're trustworthy, the more the fear of betrayal fades away. Building trust is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing effort that lays the groundwork for a strong, lasting relationship. Unresolved conflicts are one of the most damaging issues in any relationship. Before you're fully committed as spouses, it's common for disagreements and arguments to be left unaddressed, allowing them to fester. When conflicts are not properly resolved, they create tension that can build up over time, eventually affecting your emotional connection. Avoiding tough conversations. In many cases, One or both partners avoid difficult conversations because they fear confrontation or don't want to hurt each other's feelings. However, sweeping issues under the rug doesn't make them go away. In fact, unresolved conflicts can grow into much bigger problems later on. The lack of closure or resolution can lead to feelings of frustration, resentment, or emotional withdrawal. Escalating arguments. When conflicts remain unresolved, they tend to escalate. What might have started as a small disagreement over something trivial can quickly turn into a much larger issue. This escalation happens because, instead of addressing the root cause of the problem, both partners may begin to point fingers and blame each other, intensifying the emotional charge of the situation. Emotional baggage. Over time, unresolved conflicts lead to emotional baggage. Every time a new issue arises, it's added to the growing list of past problems that haven't been dealt with. This emotional burden can make it difficult to truly move forward in the relationship, as both partners may feel like they're constantly revisiting the past, rather than focusing on building a positive future together. To break free from this cycle, it's crucial to tackle conflicts head-on with open communication. Rather than avoiding tough conversations, make an effort to address issues as they come up. Practice active listening, where both partners make an effort to truly understand each other's feelings and perspectives. And remember, it's not about winning the argument. It's about finding a solution that works for both of you and strengthening your bond. Fear of commitment is one of the most common barriers that can hold a relationship back before it fully blossoms into marriage. This fear isn't always about the person themselves. It's often tied to deep-rooted insecurities, past experiences, or doubts about the future. It's completely natural to have concerns about commitment, but if not addressed, it can prevent the relationship from reaching its full potential. Subpoint 1. Past hurt and trust issues. Often, the fear of commitment stems from past experiences. Perhaps a previous relationship ended in betrayal, heartbreak, or disappointment. These past wounds can make it difficult for someone to fully open up or trust that the relationship will last. The fear of repeating past mistakes can cause a partner to hold back, keeping their emotions guarded, and making them hesitant to take the next step in the relationship. Subpoint 2. Fear of losing independence. Another reason for fear of commitment is the fear of losing one's sense of independence. For many, the thought of being fully committed to someone else can feel like a loss of personal freedom. They may worry about being tied down, or not having the same opportunities to pursue their individual goals or desires. This fear can create an emotional tug-of-war, where one partner feels torn between their relationship and the desire to maintain autonomy. Subpoint 3. Fear of the unknown. Commitment also brings uncertainty. It's about stepping into the unknown, sharing your life with someone else, merging your future plans, and relying on another person to a greater degree. The unknown can be daunting, especially if you're unsure about the future. What if things don't work out? What if the relationship changes? These questions often linger in the back of your mind, fueling your fear of commitment. So, how do you overcome this fear? The first step is self-reflection. It's important to understand where the fear is coming from. Are you carrying emotional baggage from past relationships? Do you need to have a conversation with your partner about your concerns? Acknowledge these fears, but don't let them control you. The next step is building trust and emotional security in the relationship. When you feel safe and supported by your partner, the fear of commitment begins to fade. Lastly, embrace the idea that commitment doesn't mean losing yourself. It means choosing to grow and build something beautiful together. A strong partnership can actually enhance both your personal growth and your relationship. Communication is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, yet it's often the first thing to break down before a couple fully commits to each other. Without clear, honest, and open communication, misunderstandings, assumptions, and frustrations can easily arise. When you're not fully committed as partners, this lack of communication can lead to confusion and emotional disconnection. Unspoken expectations. One of the most damaging aspects of poor communication is unspoken expectations. You might assume your partner knows how you feel or what you need, but often they don't. When these expectations are not clearly expressed, resentment can build up. For example, you might expect your partner to help with certain responsibilities, but because you never communicated this need, they're unaware. Over time, these unspoken expectations can lead to frustration and disappointment. Misunderstandings and assumptions. In the absence of clear communication, misunderstandings are bound to happen. Small issues can snowball when assumptions take over. For instance, you might interpret your partner's silence as disinterest, when in reality, they're just stressed or tired. Without discussing these feelings and checking in with each other, you end up misunderstanding each other's intentions. These misinterpretations can create unnecessary tension in the relationship. Emotional bottling up. When communication is lacking, emotions can get bottled up. Both partners may hold on to their feelings instead of expressing them. This leads to emotional buildup, and when those feelings eventually spill over, they may come out in anger, frustration, or withdrawal. This emotional suppression can weaken the connection between partners and create a barrier to intimacy. The key to overcoming communication issues is to prioritize open and honest dialogue. It's important to check in with each other regularly, not just about daily tasks, but about how you're feeling, what you need, and what your concerns are. Creating a safe space where both partners feel comfortable expressing themselves helps prevent misunderstandings and builds a foundation of trust. Remember, communication isn't just about talking, it's about actively listening as well. Make sure to listen without interrupting or judging, and truly try to understand your partner's perspective. By keeping the lines of communication open, you reduce the risk of miscommunication and emotional distance. Before fully committing as spouses, it's common for couples to have different lifestyles, interests, and routines. While these differences can initially seem charming or exciting, over time, they can cause friction if not properly addressed. The clash between different lifestyles can affect everything from daily habits to long-term goals, leading to confusion or frustration. Daily routines and habits. People often live with daily habits that fit their personal lifestyle. For example, one partner might be an early riser who enjoys a peaceful morning routine, while the other is a night owl who thrives late at night. These opposing routines can create challenges when it comes to sharing time together. One partner may feel that the other's lifestyle disrupts their own, leading to conflicts about how time is spent. Financial habits and spending. Another area where lifestyle differences surface is in financial habits. Some people are savers, prioritizing long-term security, while others are spenders, enjoying the present moment and indulging in luxuries. These differing financial outlooks can cause tension if not addressed early. One person may feel that the other is reckless with money, while the other may feel that their partner is too restrictive or controlling. Social life and personal interests. Differences in social life and personal interests can also create divides. One partner might enjoy frequent socializing, while the other prefers quiet nights at home. If these differences aren't communicated, one person might feel neglected or resentful. Additionally, if one partner is passionate about certain activities or hobbies that the other doesn't understand or appreciate, it can lead to feelings of isolation or frustration. So, how can couples manage these differences? The first step is open communication about each person's lifestyle preferences. Discuss your habits, interests, and values early on in the relationship to understand where compromises can be made. It's also important to find common ground, whether it's creating shared routines or finding activities that both partners enjoy. Embrace each other's individuality while working to build shared experiences. At the same time, make space for personal growth. In a healthy relationship, both partners should feel supported in maintaining their own interests and habits. This balance between togetherness and individuality is key to a fulfilling partnership.